Doing good. How are you doing? Right on.
Oh, I think he's what's up, Michelle? Oh, yeah. He said he's gonna hit the block a couple of times. Yeah. I'm a writer. I get it bad, but that's what I'm going to do.
Not to work. Take 3 times as tired, 3 times as fast.
This is the NLG. Come on, you gotta come up with the NLG.
What's up, Dan? Back here at the Justice Center.
I know 254
How about you?
253.40. I know 253.40. NLG number.
Oh, yeah.
They already had the hard squad go by. I shit you not.
What?
2 vans of hard squad, riot cops.
I was trying to cross the street with in between vans 1 and 2. I think they're just trying to circle and like astroturf it like Republicans do to make them look like there are more of them.
Well, there was 2 for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was 2.
But they're circling the block.
I know, I saw it.
I'm gonna get in
I
trouble.
was standing right there and they went by. I took pictures. I think they're going to need the PA. We got 20 now. We got 20 now. She has to take the PA. Oh, it's 1 o'clock. gonna need PA. Yeah. Yeah, justice in Latin. There you go. And people are still showing up. Typical Portland thing, everybody shows up late. Mostly because of the mass transit being so awful. Okay, I'm ready. Whenever they need the sound. Oh, Malcolm. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good, but they need support. This crowd needs to be bigger.
Liability is clear that they have money and they're committed.
Pretty much all when I first got here, there was like 2 people here. Maybe not gonna happen too good.
Hey Margaret, how's it going?
That dude almost took a header.
Your shit just stays. I thought I'd come over and just kind of poke my nose.
That guy up there right now, right up there,
Yeah.
he's washing off the Kiwanis Hayes graffiti.
Yeah, they're a labor.
Pretty great.
It's not going to come off so easy.
Huh?
That graffiti's not going to come off so easy.
Oh, did somebody
Look at it.
put these?
Kiwanis.
Yeah, that's not going to come up there. And that's okay. It shouldn't.
I assume the organizers are the ones with the clipboards.
Can you believe they're making this guy clean the wall right now?
Well, they didn't necessarily sand him out right now. It might have just been one of the chores he had to do today, and it's just coincidental.
Suspicious of everything now.
Yeah, I know. I know. You'd think they would have taken it off in the morning, but no. Here we are in the afternoon. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Yeah.
Okay, louder. The streets of Seattle and WTO, I saw these green hats. They were bright green, and they were legal observers. I was like, who are these people? They are the coolest kids on the block. I want to meet them. Right? Have you seen those green hats? Have you been those green hats? Raise your hands.
Make it
Green hats, thank you. That is the most visible thing the National Lawyers Guild does, but it's far from the only thing it does. So I'm going to hand the mic over to Ashley Albies, the wonderful chair of the National Lawyers Guild Portland chapter, to tell you more about the NLG.
Step one sometimes with lawyers and legal workers and legal folks, we're not so good at being organized, right? A lot of us don't have organizing backgrounds. Some of us do, and are really good at it. But step one for folks who are new to this, who are new to social justice movement, is showing up. Part of why we wanted to have this event here today is so that people can meet each other and connect. There's a lot of efforts going forward. The ACLU is working on a lot of stuff. The NLB is working on a lot of stuff. Lawyers for Good Government is working on stuff. And we want to make AILA, American Association of Immigration Lawyers, is working on stuff. There's a lot of fantastic legal organizations that are doing solid legal work. We don't take the time to sit and talk to each other and look at each other and connect with each other and say, I have your back, you have my back. There's no possible way one organization can tackle everything in defense and offense what we're facing right now. So we all need to make sure we look at each other, we take stock of each other, we support each other, we refer people and resources to each other. And then we provide our own resources to each other. But it's critical for a legal organization or a legal movement to support social justice work, both here and nationally and internationally. So about the National Lawyers Guild, it's an organization of lawyers, law students, legal workers, and jailhouse lawyers in the service of the people, to the end that human rights shall be deemed more sacred than property interests. And I need folks to actually think about what that means. That means that it's a critique of capitalism as we know it. It means that we look at human rights, and those are more important than financial interests in the Dakota Access Pipeline. That indigenous rights are more important than transmitting oil and destroying the environment. And that we need to be thoughtful and considerate and critical of the reasons why people are taking to the streets, why people are engaging in direct action, why people are standing in solidarity with movement, and the thoughtfulness that is honest about why we're facing this work. The National Lawyers Guild is the nation's oldest and largest progressive bar association. It's the first one in the United States to be racially integrated. Our mission, as Brenna has mentioned, want to thank you again for being here. I want to encourage people to connect with people around you and next to you. If you don't know folks, reach out, say hello, introduce yourself. I want to introduce Violet, or your best friend. Hold on. Thank you.
So on the connection, Jamie has a clipboard. Oh yeah, what's a girl who doesn't have a clipboard? You are not already connected to the National Lawyers Guild and you would like to be. You want to circulate that through the crowd. Please sign up. We really do need to be connected and be a stronger movement than ever in supporting all the other movements of action to take down the Trump administration and, American imperialism as we do.
I want to introduce Violet in just a moment. First, in terms of the self-education piece, we all hear about white supremacy and patriarchy and heteronormatism and racism, and I want, for a lot of folks who are familiar with those terms and have engaged with the system without understanding, we've just put up a bunch of resources on the NLG webpage, portlandnlg.org. There's a tab that has resources and links to video and information that people who feel really unfamiliar with those terms or uncomfortable thinking about those or talking to them. There's a list of resources for folks to view videos, read the information, read critiques, list of information that we put up, come to your own conclusions, make your own way there. To that end, I want to introduce Violet Navali, who's an amazing lawyer who does wage theft work here in Portland, and she's going to talk to you about organizing lawyers with intersectionality. Hi, everyone. Yes, I just want you to pay attention. There's cars going by. They are signaling either a positive response or a negative response. They're looking to you to let them know why we're here. So I'm going to ask you a fundamental question. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. Why do we want it? My name is Violet Nazari. You may know me as Violet. I am here in a capacity to speak with you about intersectionality. Why? Because when we don't include folks from all intersections, from the margins, from all aspects of our society, when we focus on privilege, all we're doing is upholding white supremacy. And we don't want that, right? Because what do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! Exactly. Okay, so Ashley was kind enough to give us an introduction into the reason why we gathered here today. She has asked you to engage with materials to educate yourself. And what I'd like to do is specifically point you in a very specific direction. First, I'd like you to join me in breaking down white fragility. Because white fragility is what stands between us and the conversations we need to have to move folks through their discomfort so we can get to the other side and get to solutions and get to unity. So, show of hands, how many of you will help me have a conversation and move folks beyond white fragility? Show of hands. I love it. I love it. Now, D'Angelo's article is up, right? White fragility article is up on the website. It will be. It will be. And I invite you to read it and share it broadly. I invite you to read and share on intersectionality, on the issue of identity, on what it means to come together at intersections rather than organizing and bringing ourselves around a single identity. That will never work. That is what divides us. That is what the opposition uses to fracture us. So we need to get beyond single identity. We need to embrace intersectionality so that we can come together and make ourselves stronger. Stronger cloth, stronger chain. I'd also like to ask you, and this is a personal ask, as a person of color, as a refugee, as an immigrant, as a lawyer from the fringe, I want to ask you to please care for one another. Because this is a battle, and many of us have been engaged in this battle for a long time, right? We are not new to this battlefield. We are warriors who've been here for a long time. Others of us are new and they want to engage, and I love that. I love that we're growing our army. I love that we're growing our army. And to do that, we need to educate ourselves, all of us. But in that process, we also need to care for each
need to hold each other up. We need to create space for each other. So many of you are familiar with the organizations that have come together today, and I love that. You may not be familiar, or maybe you just happen to know Lawyers for Good Government, formally titled, my favorite title, Lawyers of the Left. And I am so glad that we are no longer called Lawyers of the Left, because I'm a dirty commie through and through, but what are you going to do? Within that space, we have topic and issue groups, people organizing to be responsive with our community, people looking to make community connections so that we can tie our lawyers to the community members and groups that have been active for decades, for years, who've been waging a path for us, all of us, for our benefit. One of those issue groups is safe spaces. One of those issue groups is safe spaces. The idea that we need to care for each other, that we need to create space for each other. So my personal ask, as a lawyer of color, as an immigrant lawyer, as someone on the fringe, help me create safe spaces for all of us. And with that, I'd like to turn it back over. I'd like to thank you and just take us out with one little question. What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! I love it. You're right here. You want to come up here?
Hi, my name is Whoopsie. That is not my name. My name is Shizuko Hashimoto. I was a community organizer for a really long time in Portland. I went off to law school and I'm back. And I am an immigration attorney. And let me tell you, right now, it's a really hard but an important time to be an immigration attorney. I want to talk a little bit about the executive orders that have passed a couple weeks ago. I think folks are really familiar with the travel ban and the work that amazing lawyers did to push back on that. Another executive order that Trump passed that's not so discussed is basically an executive order that labeled all undocumented immigrants as priorities for deportation. So I want folks to actually go back and read that order, read it really close, be scared, and then get ready to organize, because it is scary. It's difficult to talk to clients who are scared out of their minds, and not to be able to honestly say, don't worry, that's unlikely to happen. I've got to prepare my clients for the worst. It's really important as community organizers, as lawyers who understand community organizing, to volunteer for Know Your Rights training, to spread that information. But beyond that, because we know that just because you know your rights doesn't mean that law enforcement necessarily will respect those rights. So beyond that, listening to what community members are asking for. I just did a Know Your Rights training last weekend, and one thing that surfaced in terms of a legal need is that parents are afraid that if they're deported, their United States citizen children will be handed over to DHS, and that any family member who is willing and able to take care of that child will not be able to do so because they don't have the legal power to do that. So, in terms of helping individuals with powers of attorney, temporary guardianship orders, stuff like that, stuff that's like the nuts and bolts, of family law, corporate law, I guess, is that power of attorney? No, that's, what is that? Agents and, I don't know, I just studied for the bar, I can't remember. But anyway, it's legal stuff that lawyers are really good at, right? So number one, I just want to say, study that executive order and start thinking about and strategizing what within the law and maybe, what within an organizing capacity can we do to push back on this? Because the Trump administration has made it very clear. There is, white supremacy could not be more evident when you read that thing. If you are suspected of committing a crime, you are a target for enforcement. You don't have to be convicted of a crime. You just have to be arrested. Like what kind of, anyway, I don't even want to go there. So, read that, understand it, and start organizing. Because, as I said before, there is just the agenda, the white supremacist agenda can be no clearer, and we have to be really clear about that. When there's permission, when the power of the government is unleashed against people of color, to be able, to put fear into their lives, which is happening. When rumors of raids and probably eventually raids happen, communities have to be ready. And it's really important. We talk about supporting immigrants. The immigrant day, what was yesterday? A day without an immigrant. Well, we have to remember, there's so many of us that come from immigrant families that we're not immigrants ourselves, but we love the heck out of our immigrant brothers and sisters. So it's not just being an immigrant that is determinative, right? If your community includes immigrants, then you've got to stand up for those folks. They're in a position right now, they're so scared. People are scared to drive around because they don't have a driver's license. What does it mean for a community to respond to say, if a fear is we don't have driver's licenses, we're afraid of being picked up police, can the community organize to say, all right, we'll organize riots. We'll take the privilege that comes with having status and we'll organize to protect people in their daily lives by organizing riots. Stuff like that, community organizing that responds to legal barriers to individuals feeling safe and moving around. So anyway, I'm done. Just wanted to say that. All right, bye.
I also want to put a plug for the Innovation Law Lab, which is part of the Immigration Law Group that has been on the front lines of organizing around providing legal services to people in detention centers at the border, where we're seeing massive deportations, wholesale deportations, and when the lawyers got involved, those deportations flowed not completely non-stop, not to stop, but flowed to a trickle compared to what had happened. So lawyers can and do affect change. Immigrant law groups and the Innovation Law Lab is a great example of what can be done with creative thinking and institutionalizing the pushback to justice. Now I want to introduce along those lines Rima Gandamur, who's been organizing a rapid response to the deportation or the executive orders that came down, and when folks were being turned away at airports or there was a lot of fear at airport locations, Rima organized a rapid response of legal folks to show up at Portland Airport. I'm going to talk about that.
So I'm another immigrant attorney in Portland. I'm also from a majority Muslim country, not one of the 7 on the band for now. And I think I was asked to talk about the organization we did in response to the executive order on the travel ban. And basically it started, I'm the president of the Arab American Community Center of Oregon and have been for 3 years now. And Saturday morning, Friday late at night, I was starting to get panic calls from people in Oregon and outside who are members of this community with their sisters, their fiancés being caught in this web of this executive order that was written so badly and implemented in the worst way possible. U.S. citizens, green card holders, legal immigrants, everybody was caught up in this. Pregnant woman, one of a PSU graduate whose sister was 6 months pregnant and delayed for hours and hours in Texas with no word allowed to her family. So that was the first call I got. So what did we do? I know there's been organizations, community organizations on the ground forever fighting the good fight. Lawyers, not as much, in little pieces. So the first thing I did was reach out to the Oregon women lawyers and to other attorneys I knew to see, because the first request we got was for attorneys in Seattle. So we called around, we got a group of us to go up to Seattle Sunday morning to help at the airport. And then we needed people at EDS. We had, members of our community that have been here for years and years, terrified and scared. So, as Violet knows, I don't use Google Docs. Got up to speed on that within a couple days, and sorry for all the mistakes. So with the help of the ACLU, a little bit from OWLS, a little bit from OPLA, a little bit from basically everybody, we started two lists. One of attorneys. We have over 150, 200 attorneys who volunteered. And another one is of translators. And this was a nice way for the Arab and the Iranian community who haven't dealt with lawyers in our community to meet up, because we would have at least 2 translators, at least 2 attorneys at the airport every single day, interviewing people, making them feel at ease, and I thought that was great. The nice thing is we have the list ready, because our president has said he's going to have a new order next week. I have no doubt it's going to be as badly written and badly implemented as the other ones, so we need to be ready. And this is, you know, we've had 2 orders now that affect the immigrant community. I know there's going to be many more that affect all of our community members, and we need to be ready at the drop of a hat to move, because you know what? We stopped him, right? We won, and we will continue winning as long as we fight and we work with our community and fight the good fight. So be ready. You know, I'm at a mediation, so I can't stay with you guys. I have to leave. But we all have things we have to do. We all have duties to our clients, but we still can take the time to do what we need to do to protect our community. So thank you.
Thank you so much. That's another example of how being ready and being lawyers and being comfortable with the law can be used to support our most vulnerable community. And Romeo, you're next. I'm sure you can tell us some more ways that the legal community can help you and vote and all the people you serve.
Thank you. Buenos dias. My name is Romeo. I work with WOS, Worker Rights Education Project. I work specifically with day laborers. Day laborers are the people who look for work on the streets. And as you know, this is nothing new for us, the attack for Hunter and the new administration. It's been like that before. Now, with this new administration, it's become clearly that it's openly saying that it's going to persecute our community. And if you remember, the 287G, the cooperation with the police, started in Arizona. And as we're part of the National Day Labor Organizing Network, we know what's going on, the persecution of day laborers on the streets, because it's clearly, they are the targets, and that the symbol, they become the symbol of illegal immigration. And we know that in Portland, we have been under attack since many years, and under like attack of the anti-immigrant groups. And we know that our police department is also they're doing their jobs. And if you see many people here in this jail, they can end up and they transfer to immigration when they have like secure community. It's a technology that they use immigration they install here in the jails to transfer to immigration. And also, it's nothing new for us that arrests happen in the courthouse, DMV, hospital, schools, that they've been using that. But also, we're not just watching this. We are I was one of the organizers in 2006 when we have 30,000 people on the streets here in Portland and millions of people in other cities that we reject the Sensenbrenner bill. And also, one of the things that we have done here, we have done civil disobedience. We push our sheriff to stop the ICE hold together with lawyers. So he did that in 2014. And also recently, the new sheriff rejected the new program that ICE wants to implement in Poland, which they call Priority Enforcement Program, which is a good thing. Another thing that we want our politicians, our mayor and the county to really stand up with their community, not just a symbolic sanctuary city, not just a symbolic sanctuary county, like they declare themselves, but we know that in other cities that declare already sanctuary city, and the raid's happening. If you know, like this week, I was responsible of the hotlines for the Portland Migrant Rights Coalition. I received 100 calls from raids a rumor. Our community it's in fear right now. Our community is, they don't know if it's a raid or it's not a raid, only when they can see the presence of cars or even the police, they think it's an ICE raid. So the thing is, it's not, we are not only see and watch what's going on, we are creating a rapid response team, and also we have our own legal observer team we call OPO, like watch, media watch, basically watching ICE. And together with the National Lawyers Guild, we monitor the ICE facility building in McAllen this week. Another thing that we have created is Comités de Defensa del Barrio. It's a defense committee that also we believe that we don't all the time need a lawyer, or we don't have a lawyer all the time with us. Our community needs to organize themselves, and we are organizing and responding for this moment under this administration. But definitely we need the support, the legal part of the work that we want to do. And we need legal observer people. We need lawyers to write specifically concrete policies that move Portland are really a sanctuary city, not just a symbolic thing, just a concrete. One thing, we need to be clear line between the police department and ICE. You know, we want to write a policy that not allow the ICE in the courthouse facility. We want policies that the schools, the churches, they are not allowed there. Basically what we want ICE out of Portland, ICE out of Oregon, and ICE out of the United States, out of the world. But I think we can do it all together as a community, as a group of lawyers, and I just want to say the last thing, that we need to continue organizing and resistance and persistence, basically, to keep up the work. Thank you very much.
Now I want to invite up Kelly Simon, who's the staff attorney with the ACLU, to talk a little bit about the ACLU was very quick to file a challenge to the Trump administration, executive order. So I would like to invite Kelly up to talk a little bit about the ACLU's litigation challenge along with the immigration law firm.
I'll be brief, which is great probably for a lot of you out there. So yes, we have sued Donald Trump. I heard someone say recently it's a great time to be a lawyer. I don't know if I would entirely agree with that. I don't know if great is the word I would use, but it's a really, really important time to be a lawyer. We have power, and I think it's important that we use that power in a way that promotes the good of our neighbors and protects our neighbors. You heard Rima talk about the organization that happened with all the attorneys going to the airport. Our lawsuit would not have happened without the power of all of those volunteers. So again, it is so important to be an attorney and to be working together as a legal community right now. We see this ban as a bit of discrimination and a very shameful one at that. Yeah, I don't know exactly. Anyway, the only thing I'll add to all the many great things that have been said is, we hear a lot about resistance right now. Our communities are really scared, and we're sitting back and waiting, which is entirely understandable. But our power as attorneys can also help us drive work forward. So I think pushing for policies, speaking up, supporting good policies that allow us to get ahead of the game is really important too. And not to get focused on the national scene entirely. Yes, Trump is doing a lot of crazy things, but a lot of crazy things are happening here locally to our communities, and I think it's important for us to both resist and drive forward changes here at home. And the last thing that I think, the only reason why I ran over here to make sure somebody came and said something about this is, we at the ACLU are so appreciative of the work of the National Lawyers Guild. So many times in our history, the Guild has been on the right side of history, even though many lawyers to the left, and then further. And I think it challenges the rest of us to really see where we can push things and see how much better we can make our community. So thank you to the Lawyers Guild. They've been a great resource for us and a great support for the work that we do, and hope that we can return that back. So thank you so much.
Again, I want to thank everybody for coming. To close us out, I'm going to invite Teressa Raiford, organizer with Don't Shoot Portland. Hey everybody. I'm going to start out just like Violet did with a chant, and I just wanted to see how loud everybody can let the people in the Justice Center know that we understand that Black lives do matter. Because the little bit of time we've been here, have you seen how many people of color have walked through those doors? People write articles about how they can't find Black people in Oregon. So if we can come to the Justice Center and we can see maybe 90+% of the people walking through those doors look like the same people that we're looking for, that's a problem, because they shouldn't be, and we know why they are. So let's just go ahead and start this chant with Black Lives Matter. 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 Righteous. All right, so when I became a community organizer, it was in response to my nephew being murdered in September of 2010. And I had been working with a CPA for several years, so I understood process and accountability and effectiveness. But I also understood that there was a legal standard that people could utilize in order to get efficient or effective outcomes. And when my nephew died, I thought to myself, wow, we're in Portland, which is a very progressive community. So how in the heck is the outcome for an 18 or 19-year-old death in the street? How is the outcome gang violence? How is the outcome poverty? How is it illiteracy? How do we have the hungriest children in the country here in our state? How do we have the most illiterate children coming from the districts in our community? Why isn't anybody that believes in the progression of this community standing up against those atrocities? Why aren't we connected in a better way to where we can see a return on investment that would show that we're actually promoting equity? Because death on the street is not equity to me. And I couldn't bring my nephew back by asking those questions, but I could use my voice to advocate for people that didn't have a voice. And using my voice, I started at City Hall. I ended up in the Portland building. I hung out a lot at Multnomah County. We even brought a couple of situations to the federal courthouse after we lost our justice opportunities here. The only recourse and support systems that I found that were consistently available to us and gave us understanding of process and the power of knowledge to use it and make it work for us was the lawyers. The lawyers didn't have bias about what was happening. They understood interpreting the law. And so when we became activists and organizers and we were working with organizations like the ACLU to do the Know Your Rights training, we also worked with the National Lawyers Guild because they were already on the front line with us. We didn't know where they came from. We saw green hats everywhere. And when we realized they were on our side, we started using them like superheroes. We were like, oh, we got green hats, let's do this. And we would push the measure of our opportunity to promote our civil liberties because we had power structures around us that were not only there as body power and support systems, but they were also there as an intellectual opportunity for us to stand up for our social and our civil liberties. I stand with the National Lawyers Guild. They didn't stop there. We did workshops and trainings that I brag about all the time. I mean, constitutional workshops. We tried a collective bargaining agreement. We talked about grand jury classes. National Lawyer Guild volunteers joined our education committees and helped us shut down school systems and get rid of superintendents that weren't standing up for the families that needed that opportunity. National Lawyer Guild attorneys made sure that people that came to our protests, that we didn't have any kind of opportunity to protect and serve, that they did it. Not the police, that the National Lawyers Guild, the legal observers, the green hats, the people answering the phones. They always stood there for us, with us, and would tell us, I know we're tired, we got finals, but do you need us out there tonight? And I'm going to be messing up in class, but do you guys need us out there tonight? Every time I get a platform to support them, I say join them. Because right now what we do understand in Oregon and in Portland particularly is that Trump is not playing with our civil liberties. He wants to take them all. He has people, he has money, he has an opportunity to pull it with policy, and we have an opportunity to stand our ground and fight it.
And if we're not serious about that, if we're not working with legal support, if we're not acknowledging the opportunity that we have to organize on their behalf so that we can educate our communities, then we're missing the opportunity to resist him. I say resist him. I say resist him at every opportunity. I say stand with your community. If you don't even know what the protest is about, but you recognize valuable, committed people that are standing out there, do not allow them to stand by themselves. Don't let it just be little bodies because they use that against us. And this get a permit thing? No, 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 no. I'm looking at the propaganda that's happening in our community. I'm listening to what the mayor and what the police chief are saying about permitted protests are safe. I don't think so, and not when we're talking about ICE. If I'm in a permitted protest and I know that the officers that are walking along with us, that we permitted to join us, they're also permitted to survey us. They're also permitted to grab information and to document and to research it and to come back at us. We already saw what happened after Trump was elected. I was going to say arrested. We already saw what happened after he was elected. They were promoting information. They were promoting faces, addresses, phone numbers. Do not trust them. Do not trust them. Resist all forms of fascism. Stand with the attorneys. Break this broke system. We know it works the way it's supposed to, but it doesn't work for us. So break it. Right, Helen?
Wow, that was almost everything I ever wanted to hear. Thank you, Teressa. Thank you all so much for coming. If you want to keep striking and taking time off work, there's going to be some kind of rally for the rest of the day everywhere downtown. I believe it's starting at 2 and Pioneer Courthouse Square. One of the main things we wanted to do in this moment is let each other see each other, meet each other, get out of our silos, get out of the courtrooms, get out from behind our desks, and make connections in the legal community. So I invite everyone before you leave to meet at least 2 people that you don't know. Like, why are you here? What do you do? How might our work complement each other as we work together for justice? We sometimes think we're in the Portland bubble where, it can't happen here. Remember, we're in the city that took all of our Japanese citizens and immigrants and rounded them up during World War II and sent them to detention centers, confiscated their land, destroyed their communities, and what's left of that? A memorial. There's a nice little memorial down at Waterfront Park. It's actually very nice. But fuck that. We don't need a memorial to the people, the Muslim community in Portland, the immigrant community in Portland. We don't want our kids to be looking at the memorial that's there because they all got rounded up on our watch. And so this can happen here. It has happened here. It is happening here. So our role is to be that wall, to use our privilege that we have with the legal system, with our voices, with our connections, and be that wall in so many different ways. I actually work in environmental law. I admire you all so much. You take people's lives and protect them, but there's intersectionality all over the place. My entire legal landscape has changed in the past month. I'm sure no matter what law you work in, your legal landscape has changed. It will continue to change, and we need to support each other. So thank you. Sign the clipboard, and please talk to each other. Meet a couple people. Keep coming up for justice. Get yourself a green hat. They're super sexy. And keep fighting the good fight. Thanks all for coming.
I don't do Facebook.
Okay.
I'll put it on YouTube though.
Awesome.
And I do Twitter.
What's your handle?
Mungen Cakes.
Mungen Cakes?
M-U-N-G-E-N. Cakes. I'm saving it right now. You're